To VBS, we welcome you.
Use the force, PB.
Children, third day it is. Yum, yum. How are you guys doing? Hope you all are having a good time in SAC VBS.
As you can tell, we're into Star Wars right now, so.
Use the force.
Use the force.
You don't know the power of the dark side of the force.
No, don't go there. Okay?
Don't go there.
This is VBS, Vacation Bible School.
Come to the light side. We have cookies.
Exactly. Come to the light. The light of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Hey, it's day 3. So one of the things we're going to talk about today is being strong physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And then there's a verse there, Vern. Isaiah 41:10.
Yeah, Isaiah 41:10 says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." I put the fold in the wrong place.
That's right. Stronger eyes Vern needs.
Glasses you shall have.
Glasses you shall have. Optometrist you shall see. Okay, so let's talk about Paul's strength. You know, Paul was very strong. He was a strong man. He walked everywhere. He didn't take a bus. He didn't fly in an airplane.
Didn't call Uber.
No Uber back then. No Uber chariots. He just walked around, and he was very, very strong. And he was emotionally strong because people didn't necessarily like him or what he was teaching. And so he kind of had to have a lot of courage and a lot of, he had to kind of, go to bed at night and say, Paul, you're doing the right thing.
I know, you have to, sometimes when you do something, aren't you kind of known for that? Paul had to do the same thing. In his previous time, he was, persecuting Christians or, hurting Christians. And now he's trying to convince everybody that I'm not the same person.
That's right. That's right. Even the people that he loved, it was just kind of hard. And he was spiritually strong. He was determined to preach the gospel. And he was going to do that. And one thing he said was, for me to live as Christ. In other words, to live is to share Christ with people. And for me to die is gain, because then I'll go to heaven and be with Jesus.
That's right.
So,
yeah, that's something that Paul did. Paul sold out. That was it. Paul, the only thing that was in Paul's vision was Jesus Christ.
That's right, 150%. An amazing man, and an amazing man for you to get to know more about. You're going to get to know more about him today and in the days ahead. So you look forward to that, and you do your activities and things, and I think you'll really find that Paul was super strong in so many ways, and he's a good person for you to kind of think about as being one of your heroes.
That's right. So you guys go out there and learn all that you can about Paul, and we'll see you at closing.
At closing? Closing, we will see you.
Goodbye.
Hello there. Welcome to Bible School, day 3. Y'all haven't seen me before, but if you've been to church often, you see me at the piano. I'm Miss Sherry, and I'm going to tell you a story, a little bit more about Paul. You've heard a couple of stories already about Paul, and I'm going to tell you another one. Paul traveled a lot, and he traveled all around to tell other people about Jesus, because that's what God wanted him to do. God helped him in many ways, and he helped him also by giving him friends, and these friends traveled with him. Paul took a trip with a friend named Silas, and Paul and Silas went to town to tell people there about Jesus, and they found another friend named Timothy. But Timothy was more like, he was a young boy, and he grew to love Paul, and Paul grew to love him like a son. They traveled many places. They went to Philippi, and while they were there, Paul and Silas got into trouble because people there did not like them talking about Jesus, and so they threw them in jail. But that didn't let Paul get him down. He and Silas sang praises to God, and their chains were released, and the doors of the jail came open, and Paul and Silas told the jailer all about Jesus, and the jailer's family came to know Jesus. And that in itself is pretty awesome. Paul and Silas and Timothy left Philippi, and they went to a town called Berea. And while they were there, they got into trouble again. They wanted to cause trouble. Paul decided to stay there, and Silas and Timothy. Paul left, and Silas and Timothy stayed in Berea to help new Christians. So Paul traveled to Greece, and he traveled to a town called Athens. The first thing that Paul noticed when he was there was all the marble statues. Not just statues, pretty statues. They were statues of other gods. There was a moon god. There was a thunder god. A fire god. They even had a statue that may have looked like something like this that they called the unknown god, because they just really weren't sure who God was. Well, when Paul saw this, he knew that these people needed to learn about Jesus. They needed to know who the real, true God is. He planned to just do whatever God wanted him to do. So he began to speak and noticed that all the Athenians, the people that lived in Athens, were so eager and paying so much attention to what he had to tell them. And so many of the people there came to know Jesus because of Paul. They came to know who the real God was. There was no unknown God to them anymore. They knew who the real God was. God knew Paul needed something special to give him strength, because there's times when he was really, man, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? One night he had a dream, and God told him, don't be afraid, Paul. Keep on speaking. Don't be silent, for I am with you. No one is going to attack, or no one's going to harm you. And God's words helped Paul to stay strong and just do it. And he continued obeying God and told as many people as he could about Jesus. And that's what Jesus wants us to do too. He has given us a commandment to tell others about Jesus, and that's what we should do. When we obey God, it pleases him. He loves us very much. He loves you very much. He wants you to know him on a personal basis. He wants you one day to ask him into your heart, so that when you die, you can go to heaven and live with him. But just remember, God is always there with you. He will give you strength whenever you ask him, because he loves you.
Hello, boys and girls. I'm so glad that you decided to join us again for week 3 of our SAC VBS. Again, I'm Miss Julie, and we're going to talk about our Bible verse this week. Let's see if we can get our friend Beverly to come out. Beverly, there she is. Hi, Beverly.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm okay.
Okay, you seem not as perky as you were last time. Is something wrong? How come, where's your other arm?
I fell off my bike.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. That hurts when you fall off your bike, doesn't it?
Yep.
Well, our Bible verse today, I'm going to teach some motions to help us learn it, but you can just use your hand that's not hurt, okay?
Yep.
All right. Well, Beverly, this week, our Bible verse is found in the book of Psalms. Now, last time, or either the first time or second week, we talked about Psalms being in the Old Testament of the Bible. So, I will say the verse, and then I'm going to show you some motions to go with it, and then we can do it together, all right?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Strengthen me according to your word. I run in the path of your commands. Psalm 119, 28, 32. Do you understand all those words?
Yep.
You know what strengthen means?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it means to make us strong, right?
My arm is strong.
Yes, this one is, isn't it? Whose word do you think we're talking about when we say strengthen me according to your word?
Jesus.
Right, God's word. And do you know what God's word that we're talking about is?
The Bible?
That's right. So when we read the Bible, when we read God's word, we can become strong. All right?
Yep.
Okay, you ready? Let's say it together and just use whatever arm, your left arm, and do the motions for the boys and girls. And I'm going to look out at the camera so they can see me. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Strengthen me according to your word. I run in the path of your commands. Psalm 119, 28, 32.
Sorry, I forgot that one.
That's okay. All right. And I have a fun. Do you like to do puzzles?
Yep.
Okay. Boys and girls, in your sack this week, there you will find a plastic bag, and we made a puzzle out of the Bible verse. And it's already cut out for you, and so all you have to do is put the words in order. And it's gonna, when you finish, it's gonna look something like this. Okay? All right, well, thank you so much, and thank you, Beverly, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Hi guys, it's Miss Terry again. So this is our third night of VBS, and our Bible verse this week is Psalms 119, 28, and 32. Strengthen me according to your word. I run in the path of your commands. And so our craft is going to look like this one. When it comes in the package, and it has several different pieces, and it has directions on how to put it together. But you can also improvise and make it look the way you want it to look. So we're going to put it together. So I'm going to take the first cactus. He looks like this. And I'm going to give him his little heart. And I think I'm going to stick it right here because I like that. Like so. And then I'm going to give him a little flower on top of his head. Because I think it's like this. And then you have a stand. And you're going to stick him in your stand like that. So now I'm going to do the second one. And did y'all know that cactus, the reason why I chose cactus for this week is because cactus are really strong. They have to stand in the desert with very little water, and they're very strong, and God made them to be strong. And you can be strong too. And here's my other one. See? You're going to stick them in the stand like this. And then this one says, I'm sticking with Jesus. He's my rock. And he's going to go right there in the middle. And there is your craft. Thank y'all so much. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.
Hi everyone, it's Aunt Fernita. Today's story is called The Unknown God. Today's message is I serve God when I tell others about Him. The memory verse is from Acts chapter 17, verse 27. It says, God is not far from each of us. Have you ever pretended that you didn't hear your mom the first time she calls you? Sometimes we pretend that we can't hear someone, especially if they want us to do something we don't want to do. A long time ago, Paul tried to tell some people about the good news of Jesus, but many of them did not want to listen. Thank you so much for traveling with me to Athens, Paul said to his friends visiting from the city of Berea. These people had just recently learned about Jesus. They had followed Paul to Athens so he could teach them more as they traveled. Please send Silas and Timothy this way just as soon as you can. Paul waved goodbye as his friends left to go back home to Berea. Paul was lonely in Athens. There didn't seem to be a single person who knew about or believed in Jesus. Dear God, Paul may have prayed, please show me how to share your love with the people of this city. Beautiful statues and buildings and artwork surrounded the people of Athens. Expensive temples filled with all kinds of idols seemed to be everywhere. Athens was known as a city overflowing with intelligent people. But as Paul walked around, he felt sorry for them. They thought they knew so much, but they really didn't know the most important thing. They didn't know about Jesus. Paul soon began talking to people, and his words made people think and ask questions. They wanted to hear what he had to say about Jesus. One day, someone invited Paul to speak at the Areopagus on top of Mars Hill. The Areopagus was a special place where philosophers met to talk and listen to the latest ideas. Such men were considered to be very intelligent and wise. It was an honor to be invited to speak there. "Friends," Paul began, "I can see that you are very religious. Everywhere I look, I see statues and altars to different gods. On one statue, I noticed the words, 'To an unknown God.' I'm here today to tell you about him. The true God of heaven made the world and everything in it. It is God in heaven who gives life and breath to everyone." As he continued speaking, many of the people listened carefully. Then Paul told them about the resurrection of Jesus. Some of the people said, "You're crazy. This is just a bunch of nonsense." But there were a few who said, "We want to hear more." Not very many people in the city of Athens believed in Jesus. They thought their own wisdom was better than God's wisdom. But there were some who became Christians. Dionysius, an important man in the city government, and a woman named Damaris chose to follow Jesus. Paul was able to talk boldly to the intelligent people of Athens because he knew God himself. What can you do to get to know Jesus better? Do you really want to know Jesus so you can tell others about him?
This podcast is read by Franita Buddy for Gracelink.net. Created and produced by Falvo Fowler. Post-produced by Faith Toe at Studio El Piso. The theme music is by Clayton Kinney. Animation and artwork by Giogo Godoy. The audio engineer was Karel Holness. For more information, please visit Gracelink.net.
Hey!
What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
Glad to have you here for our closing session. Glad to have you out there.
Closing session.
Have you been learning anything? I certainly hope that you have.
Hope so.
Take a look. This is our friend here. What's your friend's name? Alien.
I saw that movie. It was kind of bad. It was really.
I think that's a misspelling of the name Alan.
I think so.
Maybe they meant to say Alan, but
I had a friend named Alan.
they were eating Ritz crackers or something and said Alien.
Okay, well, let's do some songs as we close out today.
What's our first song?
Peace Like a River.
Peace Like a River.
Because it's good and we like to have peace.
It's good enough for me. Is it good enough for you?
I think so.
Is it good enough for that? Is it good enough for Alien? All right, let's find out.
I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love
next song is going to be the Fruit of the Spirit song. It's one of your favorites.
That's right. It's not a coconut and it's not a watermelon.
Okay, so get ready. Fruit of the Spirit song.
Come on now, y'all sing along with us out there.
The fruit of the Spirit's not a coconut. Fruit of the Spirit's not a coconut. You want to be a coconut? You might as well hear it. You can't beat the fruit of the Spirit, cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Oh, the fruit of the Spirit's not a banana. The fruit of the Spirit's not a banana. You want to be a banana? You might as well hear it. You can't beat the fruit of the Spirit, cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Oh, the fruit of the Spirit's not a watermelon. The fruit of the Spirit's not a watermelon. You want to be a watermelon? You might as well hear it. You can't beat the fruit of the Spirit, cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Oh, the fruit of the Spirit's not a lemon. The fruit of the Spirit's not a lemon. You want to be a lemon? You might as well hear it. You can't beat the fruit of the Spirit, because the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Oh, the fruit of the Spirit's not a cherry. The fruit of the Spirit's not a cherry. If you want to be a cherry, you might as well hear it. You can't beat the fruit of the Spirit, because the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Okay! Everybody knows that grapes come in bunches, so everybody get in big bunches. The fruit of the Spirit's not a grape. The fruit of the Spirit's not a grape. You want to be a grape? You might as well hear it. You can't beat the fruit of the Spirit, cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. The fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control.
All right. Now that's our worship part, and we hope you all have had a good time today and have learned a lot of things about Paul. And remember, we'll be back next week to have a lot more learning about Paul.
And fun. Amen. We hope to see you guys then.
And we'll
Take care.
And we'll have an oxygen tank for me and Mr. Vern.
Yay! Oh. Bye-bye.
Bye.